talk today about the fact that Arizona voters voted what Governor Brewer wanted was a 1% of the dollar sales tax increase. And it's believed that the voters did this because much of this will go to education and they want the best for the children. But I also think that it's a vote of confidence in Governor Brewer and support for whatever she's done, even though there's a lot of controversy about it and a lot of people disagreeing. Another big story we have going on is a battle between their Secretary of Education, Tom Horne, the state secretary, and he is disputing or disagreeing with having the ethnic studies classes in the Tucson district. He believes that they're preaching ethnic studies will play up more the controversy, say their studies, the Hispanic studies involve what the strikers had to do with Chavez and the revolution in Mexico. He thinks that they cause resentment of the government and criticism, and the idea that revolution is something to bring down capitalism, which is being taught by other teachers across the land. Say, like in the university, I saw a video of a UCLA professor who's openly socialist and preaching that the only solution is the overthrow of the capitalist form of government. Well, the capitalist form of government got an awful lot of criticism in this last recession.
So we had a democracy here. What happened?
And yes, well,
Democracy.
yeah, well, democracy,
It's
yes.
not the same thing as capitalism.
Sorry. Well, yes, a democracy, but which favors capitalists, right?
No,
and according to the
actually-
socialists.
Actually, capitalism favors democracy. Because they don't get along too well together.
Yeah, they don't get along too well with
Capitalism doesn't get along with just about
socialists.
anybody.
So anyway, that's another big controversy we have going, because the NCAP, the Advancement of Colored People,
NAACP?
yes.
Good.
They also filed suit years ago to have these studies, ethnic studies, into the Tucson district because they said there wasn't enough input for blacks, and then the Hispanics filed suit too, saying there wasn't enough input for Hispanic people. So we've got all these controversies going on in Arizona, which I think is par for the course, to be expected, and we're going to be arguing about these. I personally was quite upset because a young teacher My Turn article was published in the Arizona Republic, and she was a teacher who was talking about the children of illegals, and she was saying,
What grade teacher was she teaching, you know? Fourth grade, fifth grade?
Something like that.
Sixth grade, seventh grade?
She didn't say.
You
She
can't
didn't say.
teach a
She said
second
it
grader
was
the
teacher.
same stuff you teach an eighth grader.
Right. Well, anyway, she said that these children brought a gift to her. They were innocent, and she actually says in the article that if we shut down illegal immigration, and I thought, what? And now it's like, I thought, boy, this teacher just dismissed the whole idea of people coming into our country illegally, parents, and we're to blame for persecuting these poor little kids. You know, a lot of children are hurt by their parents' actions. But in this case, I don't think Arizona or the new law are going to be responsible for what the children of illegals are going to suffer, because this law is directed toward people who break the law. Illegals who break the law, they're the ones that are going to come under scrutiny, hopefully. And that's what they've been trying to do. They've been doing it for 2 years in trying it out, you might say. I read that a police officer was talking about it and saying that things aren't going to change very much because they have been implementing this law beforehand because it's on the books. And Arizona law just makes it, more to the front, more stronger, just by virtue of bringing it out more. Because we've had so much trouble with lawbreakers. And if they're illegals, that has compounded them. So that's what my own feelings are based on is, I think if people have their apartments shot up on a regular basis and illegals are involved in a lot of those crimes, they're going to remember that. I mean, you remember having your apartment shot up. I went around and looked at the front of the similar apartment to mine. There was holes this big in the windows right over where the children were sleeping. Now, just imagine what that does. And also all over the walls there had been there was shooting. And this was on a regular basis in 13 years. This is the basis of my feeling that illegals who commit crime, that just makes it even more necessary to attend to illegal crossing the border silently, like an invasion, not out in the open, it's to steal into this country and become a citizen without, supposedly anybody knowing it. And bringing your children into all of this. Is this the fault of the country when they start trying to do something? I don't think so. And when a newspaper prints one of these, now my newspaper, Arizona Republic, will not print any of my stuff. They're on to me. They know that. But they print this teacher who is trying to blame Arizona for shutting down illegal immigration, or wanting to. Shutting down people coming into our country in quite great numbers overnight.
Remember what I told you?
Yes.
Use an alias. Get a phony ID. Folks, I know I can get phony IDs walking down the street, and the guy walks up, "You want an ID?" Sure.
Okay, well, when we get to the point where we're afraid to oppose these unseen invaders, boy, things are getting really bad. Believe me, I lived in terror where people shoot up people's neighborhoods. You don't forget that. And it's probably worse now, a lot worse, because there's a lot more guns and there's a lot more areas in Arizona that are under gunfire. Thank you.
Don't shoot me!